Hey everybody, how have you been? Get it? Bin? That reminds me, I have to take in the other bin. This is Truth Dog coming at you with another expose. A little bit late on this one. 2 weeks, in fact. I actually did a video on this when it happened, but I wasn't happy with it. And so now I'm doing it 2 weeks later. But, I live in Australia where everything is at least 2 weeks late. So this one will be on this guy, IGN, fired, disgraced IGN editor Filip Miucin, or how you say Filip Miucin or whatever, however you say his stupid name. The whole controversy was at the time. This guy, he posted, what's the name? Broomstick Gaming posted this video about how he noticed that his review for the video game Dead Cells had been plagiarized nearly word for word by the editor of IGN, which is, in case you didn't know, IGN is a really shitty Illuminati shill video game reviewing site, and the popular meme for those idiots is that you can't spell ignorant without IGN. And so this guy was like the editor, had some sway there. So it just goes to show the type of creeps that they're hiring. But anyway, this guy uploaded this video, and within a day, the dude was fired. So like that's some swift justice, which is fairly rare in this day and age, and that made me feel really good. The guy was fired. But what I want to highlight in this video is I'll show you Broomstick Gaming's original video, which talks about and highlights all the moments of plagiarism throughout the Dead Cells review. And what I want to do is focus on the voice, the vocal intonation, and whatever you want to call it, inflections and all that, and show that it's some pretty stark contrast differences between a real person's voice, speaking voice, natural, easygoing, thoughtful, emotional sounding voices, and a psychopath's voice, which is the latter, obviously, from the plagiarized review. And so without further ado, here we go.
What's up, guys? This is Deadite from Boomstick Gaming. We have a slightly weird issue today. I put out my Dead Cells review last week, and then IGN put out their written and video review today, and it turns out the gentleman there at IGN seems to have watched my video and copied a lot of it, so I'm not sure what to do about this. Let's just walk through it, and I'll show you what I mean. First off, this is the Boomstick Gaming. That's myself. Let's go ahead and start. Dead Cells takes the progression of a Metroidvania and integrates it into this procedurally generated action roguelite that has you slowly chipping away at its steep difficulty.
So you can hear in his voice all those qualities I was describing, similar in to my voice, in how you basically sound like you have thoughts, you have emotions. You're actually thinking about what you're saying. You're not just regurgitating something, and you're not trying to put on a facade. It comes across as natural. Now, this is exactly like this is the quintessential, definitive example how a psychopath will talk, and they see it as smooth talking, but it just comes off as really fake and overly showy, and they hide their naturally monotone nature, which indicates how dead they are inside, with a lot of showy inflections and trying to sound real snazzy and cool, and here's my radio announcer voice, ladies, and all this sort of crap. So here we go. Here's the psychopath voice.
It takes the progression system of a Metroidvania and transforms it into a procedurally generated action roguelike.
Okay, not that similar. Some similarities. Let's proceed. In Dead Cells, you'll need to kill your way through a labyrinth of levels, all punctuated by boss encounters that starts off quite linear, but the more you play, the more routes and game mechanics will open up to you.
In Dead Cells, you fight your way through an ever-changing labyrinth of levels with branching paths.
You might not be able to make it to the final boss on your
It's just so comical to me, the difference. I mean, you might not agree with me, but because this isn't something that I came to realize was a tell of psychopaths until a few years ago, when I became certain of it. It's just one of those things where, unless you're looking for it or listening for it in this case, you don't particularly pick up on it. But, it's not something that a lot of people mention, is how you can pick a psychopath just from hearing them. I mean, it only makes sense because there has to be a way to counter it. Like, say you're a blind person, with a soul. And how else would you be able to tell if people are good or bad if you can't see what they're doing. You know, you can't see their faces, you can't look in their eyes and see that they're dead, or see that they're fake smiling, or whatever it is. You know, say you only have limited awareness, you can only hear, then there's got to be a tell for people who can't see, because that's only fair. That's part of this game that we're in.
Run, but if you can manage to salvage some blueprints for some new gear, or better yet, an ability-altering rune, it makes it all worth your while, even if you can see your death just around the corner. This is the type of roguelike that, yeah, sure, you could beat the boss on your first attempt, but you're probably not going to, and you're not supposed to. Let's stop there. Let's see what Philip has to say next.
You're almost guaranteed not to make it all the way through on every run, but as your efforts lead you to blueprints that unlock new gear, it makes it all worth your while.
Okay.
As your efforts make you new gear, it makes it all with club sauce. Yeah, so anyway, that's enough of that. We've got to move on. I think you get the point. As this video is not even halfway through, as it goes, the similarities, you know, between the two reviews just become so shockingly obvious. Like, by the end, he's basically repeating the original review verbatim, so it's no surprise that this guy got canned. Anyway, so that's some tips on how to tell them vocally. Let's move on to physically. Now, what I did once I heard about this, you know, I went through the comments at the time, you know, 2 weeks ago. I found out he was fired. That made me feel really good, you know. It's not a case of Schadenfreude in this case, you know. It's just far too common for bad things to happen to good people in this world. Only the good die young, etc. When something actually, you know, like karma or whatever, catches up to an actual fucking asshole, man, it feels good. So after that, I thought, yeah, wow, this dude is like the most obvious psychopath. I want to see what he looks like, because, you know, see if there's any tells physically, and there are. You know, he looks exactly like one of them. Just from the freeze frame here, this is like a video that was uploaded a year ago, and the comments are so good. Like, you can tell the ones that were posted at the time by all these Freemason Illuminati buddies giving him a boost in the world through popularity algorithm and whatnot. Yeah, I like that one. There's some pretty good comments. Better learn how to fill up burgers. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah. IGN should hire Broomstick Gaming. The problem is he's not a psychopathic reptilian, so they have no use for him. They can just keep copying other people's reviews. You know, they'll pretend that it was just one of their reviewers who was doing it, and throw them under the bus and just hire another fucking plagiarist. But anyway, this guy, this is like when he was first hired for IGN, I believe. Yeah, I think so. Nintendo. Yeah. The new editor for IGN. And I don't know, tell me if you've ever seen this face before, because as I've said before, I'm pretty sure that these things are all wearing like the same sort of skin suits. That's basically the way that the hologram works. They're outfitted in some sort of like Joseph's Technicolor Dreamcoat or whatever. Once activated, it takes on a certain human form. It's kind of like in a video game, create a class, create a character kind of thing, where there's only a set, you know, finite amount of faces that you can use, and obviously there's variations, but to me this dude looks like the replacement for Brandon Flowers from The Killers. He also has a lot of very, very physical, expressions and whatnot to Seth MacFarlane, another famed plagiarist of Family Guy and American Dad and all those really creatively named rip-offs of The Simpsons. Yeah, and he looks like a guy who I used to know at a message board. I'll allow him right here. This will learn you, Brent O'Reilly, you piece of shit. He looks like Brent O'Reilly, the Irish snake, who works for UPS. And I'm getting on quite a tangent here, but just so you know, delivery drivers are very commonly reptilians. It's a great job for a gang stalker to have. They can do all sorts of crap to people, you know, accidentally on purpose. Oh, sorry, you lost your package and whatnot, you know. Oh, sorry to bother you. Oh, sorry, I must have missed you, you know. All that sort of crap, you know. It's a great job for energy vampires. Anyway, this isn't about Brent O'Reilly, the Irish snake. This is about Filip Miucin. And like I said, physical tell. So you got the stupid psychopathic walking hairdo. You got the fake poreless, tight-looking, dry-looking rubber skin. Not so much here, but you'll see throughout what I show you here. He has pretty dead eyes. Got that bulbous kind of fake prosthetic looking nose. What else? Oh yeah, he's dressed like a pedophile. Dressed for his best friend's 10th birthday party at the age of 30. Oh yeah, and I'll go through other things, but another key one that I haven't really mentioned in other videos is that he has their arms. Not only is he wearing a wristwatch, which I've talked about before, I've actually had people comment about wristwatches and things that these pieces of shit can teleport. They show that in the movie They Live, and they do it through cell phones and wristwatch technology. And I also believe they wear wristwatches because that's another thing. You'll notice that when you meet a piece of shit, 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, they're wearing some fucking wristwatch, and it's like, who wears wristwatches these days? You know, with phones and whatever. Anyway. I'll just let it run, and hopefully I can catch his tongue flick as well. So this is the piece of shit that plagiarized Broomstick Gaming's review. There we go, one tongue. You know, how's my fake CGI hair looking? He's got that. That thing probably helps stabilize his stupid hologram as well. Ah, there you go. Did you see the tongue? Anyway, you can pause it. Pause it in case. Look at that shit-eating grin.
Once or twice.
Okay, I think we've got like a 5-minute intro here. They're just showing how flashy their offices are. Aren't we so envious? Aren't they cool? They're more important than us. They must be telling the truth.
Very first IGN review for a little game called Doom on Switch, which was...
They're so boring and so banal when they're trying to come across as normal. That's why people never suspect really nice guys as being psychopaths, because, no, man, he's such a nice guy. He's so normal. He couldn't be a serial rapist or plagiarize all of his reviews on IGN. That's another thing I didn't mention. He was actually, after he was fired, it turns out he plagiarized like dozens of reviews. It wasn't just that Broomstick Gaming thing. And you know, for all the people who are under the impression that psychopaths make up merely 1% of the population, ask yourself, what kind of person other than a psychopath would do this sort of thing? And ask yourself, how do you meet people like this on a daily basis? I do. That is when I'm stupid enough to leave the house. Yeah, seriously, you know, they're everywhere. They're freaking everywhere. They're just because they don't tell you they're a psychopath, you know, doesn't mean that they're not. You know, you have to look, you have to be paying attention, because these things are using a lot of their energy to fake being fucking normal, so that at the end of the day they can go fucking do all sorts of weird shit. And during the day, you know, they do all sorts of crap to you during the day, especially when you're onto them. But anyway.
A lot of fun. It was an incredible experience, and I already have a list of other reviews that are coming up in the near future
That I plan on plagiarizing.
So it's
Tongue.
incredibly exciting. I'm so stoked to be here and a part of this amazing team.
Another thing, like I said, he has fairly dead eyes. And what I said before in the past about these things is that they tend to emote through their brow, and they end up getting a lot of sort of wrinkles on their brow as a result, because from overuse. He has that quality. I wouldn't particularly call him ugly, but I don't find him attractive at all. It's just, you know, when I look at someone and find them attractive, it's about their aura and their vibe and their eyes, which is, you know, all connected. And this guy just makes me sick looking at him. But like I said, physically not unattractive. Not all reptilians are fugly. But the thing about even the good-looking ones is they tend to look like soap opera actors, you know, that kind with like the square jaw and just that cocky fucking demeanor, and they just seem like arrogant, like jock types. That's a good example of a male reptilian using holograms that is not ugly. But anyway, I'll just point out a couple other things, like with his arms, like there he's wearing the watch, and this probably isn't the best shot, but see those fucking protruding veins? That's another thing I've noticed. Not only is the arm like really clear looking, it almost looks like what do you call it, like some sort of hard plastic or whatever. But like very, very clear looking arms. And look at what the fuck is that shit. But yeah, really clear looking arms and like protruding veins. That's one quality I've noticed with these pieces of crap, is that they have like these really veiny fucking arms and legs and all that sort of stuff. So I do believe that's a tell. That's something that I've tested as an observation, and it has come up true on the Truth Dog-O-meter. By the way, if you want to buy a Truth Dog-O-meter, just send your money and your details to my address, and I'll hook you up. You know, got plenty of water filters and Alex Jones branded baseball caps too. They're all good to go. I mean, Truth Dog branded baseball caps. Okay, I just crossed Alex Jones out and wrote Truth Dog. But anyway, enough of this.
But actually work for IGN.
Lying
so
scumbag.
If this guy can do it, who knows? I mean, maybe one of you can do it too, or all of you.
like Broomstick Gaming, yeah, anyone can write a review that he can plagiarize.
Video games have always been a gigantic part of my life. Just like I'm sure a lot of you guys out there.
What a boring shithead. Anyway, so like I said, this dude ended up posting an apology video. Now, it sucks because I wanted to find the original copy and it's since been removed. But you can see from this, basically it was a fake apology. You know, no one bought it. You know, like, your psychopaths aren't going to say sorry. They don't feel remorse. They don't feel empathy. They don't feel shame, you know. The only thing he would be sorry about is that he got caught. So anyway, he ended up posting this fake apology that everyone saw through, and that's been taken off the internet, so I can't show you that. But like I said, after all this happened, IGN realized that this dude had not only plagiarized one, but several, not several dozen of his reviews, basically all of them.
These are the marks of the maker.
Thank you for my sponsor.
As I'm
there.
sure you've all heard by now, former IGN editor Filip Miucin was recently fired
Listen
from
to this
the news
robot.
outlet for plagiarizing someone else's review.
Like,
More
there's so
specifically,
few
he
people
copied
who
the
are real.
sentence-by-sentence,
I'll see if I
paragraph
can get some
Now,
of...
one party who we hadn't
Oh,
heard
God,
from
is it going to
was
show it?
Filip himself.
Now, one
His
party that we blah,
opinions.
blah, blah.
It's sort of low-key implication that Filip eventually addressed Boomstick Gaming directly, and here's what he had to say.
Okay.
As for Boomstick, I have nothing but the best wishes for him, and I hope that his wave of success lasts a long time. A lot of you watching this video,
He has nothing but the best wishes for the guy he ripped off. Like, what does that have to do with it? That's insane. That's so funny. So I haven't seen this.
might not
I really
sound
wish I had the
much,
original
but
copy.
I also started out as a YouTuber, so I completely understand what it's like being a small YouTuber trying to make a name for yourself.
See that shit I was talking about? How he's
Oops.
trying to like emote with his brow, like he does all these like little sort of moves with his eyebrow.
Just keep doing what you're doing, man. It looks like you have a great thing going, and I've got nothing but respect for you.
Notice how
What the fuck? It's like, no hard feelings about calling me out for ripping off your review, man. You're obviously doing good work because I felt like stealing all of your content. Like, what the fuck is... Look
there
at
wasn't
that.
a single
What
time
a
when he
dick.
apologized to Boomstick Gaming or acknowledged that he copied his work. Filip talks about how he respects Boomstick Gaming, patronizingly encourages him to keep doing what he's doing. Pause this video and take
Hold
the time
on.
to read what
I
he
should
says.
probably edit here, but
Understand how
this is kind of funny to me.
journalistic entity
Shut up.
Chris
God,
Scullion,
fucking, who cares?
who wrote an
Just show the
entire life
review and
that
saves
Filip
funny
is the
stuff.
target of a plagiarizing nincompoop who wants to take advantage of other people's
Okay,
hard
it looks
work
like we got-
and pass it off as their own.
I'll wrap
saying,
it up after
Filip
this one.
then talked about how he has lately been the target of hate and threats.
Oh, no,
particularly noting how some people looked up his family members to harass them.
Oh,
Expressing that
no.
this isn't okay and
Philip's
asking
family
everyone
members. He's a
to
victim.
leave his
This guy's not the perp. He's the victim. What have we become?
family members out of it. That's probably the only thing about this whole video that's agreeable. Yes, Filip did a really shitty thing, but that doesn't warrant threats, and that especially doesn't warrant...
Oh, holy shit, this guy's not woke. Obviously, I mean, he's a fucking robot, but believing this guy that his family's being threatened, what a fucking load of shit.
people attacking his family members who had nothing to
Yeah,
do with what Filip
you should
did.
not...
For those out there who have harassed or intend to harass Filip and his family,
Yeah.
please don't be an
Yeah,
asshole
stop,
and take the high road.
stop harassing
I
his
will say
family,
this,
you
though,
imaginary
Filip
people.
is trying to play the victim here when he was 100% in the wrong.
Well,
With how
yeah,
he's
obviously,
making
that's what I
empty
said.
apologies, refusing to admit his mistakes, accusing those reporting
This
on the
dude would
story
make a
of
great
getting up on his
politician.
high horse or trying to garner sympathy.
Both of them,
when he
actually.
himself hasn't
Oh, okay, well,
This gesture
there he
is
goes.
pretty much this entire video in a
Wait,
nutshell.
wait, what?
Completely dramatized and insincere. And anyone with a shred of common sense and decency will see.
I'm
right
just going to
through
let this guy conclude
we are
it for
already
me.
seeing the likes of IGN executive editor of reviews Dan Stapleton tweet quote.
Check
"I haven't
check
seen
out the editor. He's doing like the one eye symbolism, more or less. Good looking fella, right? Looks like Louis C.K.'s retarded brother.
an apology this poorly received
Oh,
since
man.
Kevin Spacey. And PC editor at IGN Tom Marks tweet quote.
It's like, it's funny to watch all these psychopath pedophile looking bastards throwing their fellow pedophile under the bus, you know, make themselves look good by contrast. Anyway, so that's it. That's Filip Miucin, great guy. You know, aside from all the plagiarizing, compulsive lying, and whatever other crimes we're not aware of. But come on, guys, stop harassing his family. I mean, what is the world coming to? This is Truth Dog, signing out. Woof woof!